Good morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 89 of the 476ers podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about last night's Celtics Sixers game. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Justice for the blind, just something that'll find in the rhymes that are coming from my mind.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to episode 89 of the 476ers podcast. What a day to rejoice, a day to lift our voices upon high and rejoice. I'm a little sick today, so if you hear that in my voice, it's allergies. It's allergies, and it's specific for when it rains. I have indoor allergies or something. Who knows? Only God knows what allergies I have. Maybe I'm allergic to the tomb. It's gonna rain, and I know the next day it's gonna be terrible. And in fact, if a meteorologist told me that it was gonna rain the next day, and I woke up not feeling this way, I would call bullshit. I would tell that meteorologist he doesn't know what he's saying. It's not gonna rain today because I don't feel like shit. And it's bittersweet because I love rain. I love the rain. The rain helps us grow. It waters us. It waters us as humans. Just as the sun helps us grow, we're just the plants of life. We're just plants of life, seeding each other, spreading our pollen into the air. And the rain is just a beautiful part of that circle, and then I love it. I get to listen to slow jams all day and have candles lit, and it's acceptable behavior, but then I also feel like shit. So that was too much, probably. That was too much. It's just a little window into who I am. Tell you who I am. Anyway, let's get to it. So let's talk about yesterday's game. I mean, listen, it feels great. It feels wondrous to beat the shit out of the Celtics, right? There are very few feelings as satisfying on the planet, it's like sex, and then if we wanted to go a little bit less, let's go PG. It's like, a delicious steak and a glass of wine. That feeling you get in your stomach when you eat a piece of steak and then you drink a glass of wine, and it's like that warmth, the type of warmth that could melt a blizzard. Like you could sit in the middle of a blizzard in the Arctic Sea, and just a piece of steak and drink wine, and that would melt the ice caps. That's not a good thing though, but you get the point. It's like a baby's laughter, a child's laughter, innocent, uninhibited by, the pains of life that it has yet to discover. That's what it's like to beat the Celtics. It feels amazing. Not only to beat the Celtics, but to beat the shit out of the Celtics. It was a close game. It was a close game pretty much to the third quarter. You know what I mean? And Danny Green, I've been saying it all year, right? Danny Green's won us a couple games. I'll talk more specifically about some of these guys. We're going to save the best for last, I assure you. But ultimately, that Celtics team, in years past, they really specialized in identifying mismatches. You know what I mean? It used to kill us. Every time we would play them, it was always the same thing. It was essentially just get JJ Redick on the screen and crush that matchup when they needed a bucket, or force one of our wings or one of our guards onto Al Horford and let him do some post work if they needed a bucket. And they would always identify that. They were special, great at ball movement, great ball movement, always finding the open shot, always trusting that system. And now it's different. It really is something. It definitely, like I said, I mentioned so far on twice before now that Brad Stevens probably isn't long for this world to coach the Celtics. He's a great coach, but that roster is, that roster is, it's good, but if they're not buying into the system, it's crazy. It's so crazy how quickly things change in the NBA. How you could go from how you can like last year, right? How how the story of the Sixers could somehow turn into not having enough talent or something like that, right? Like that the storylines changed so quickly when it was like, no, it's not that we didn't have enough talent, it's that the talent we had didn't fit. You know what I mean? But then you have stuff like this where essentially, I have trouble saying they don't have enough talent. Robert Williams is a good player. I mean, I'm sorry, Robert Williams, whatever. Kemba hasn't been completely healthy. He's still a threat, obviously. I mean, he kills us coming off of screens. I mean, that's his specialty. Come off the screen and drain a three-pointer. We just can't. We have no answer for that. We never will. Jalen is incredible. Jason Tatum is incredible. I mean, that's as good as a big three as you're going to find in the NBA. You know what I mean? I mean, there's not many big threes. You could really argue that big three is better than our big three. Especially if you look at last night's game, what's the argument? We have Joe, we have a dick and two balls. You know what I mean? And I mean that in terms of height, because balls are useful. But they cause pain too. Yeah, so maybe that works. A dick and two balls. Kemba, he's still running back into shame, but he's still a problem coming off of screens, and he generally has tended to kill us in the past. But they really, I mean, people have been saying this for a while. Their bench is a problem for sure. I mean, they're dealing with injuries too, but it don't matter. What the fuck is what's Tristan Thompson gonna do? What's Tristan Thompson gonna do? Honestly, this fall, man, I'll never forget. I hate responding to podcasts, but I'm making it too obvious. I keep doing it, but when Bill Simmons and Ryan Russillo were talking at the beginning of the year that they liked, the effectively trading out Gordon Hayward and getting back Tristan Thompson, and I just, what are you talking about? How could you like that? What has Tristan Thompson done in his career that tells you that you can somehow like anything about that type of logic? I understand Gordon was injured, but Gordon made the ball. Gordon could fill in so many gaps, man. Gordon Hayward is a very good basketball player. Yeah, the injury sucked, and that's a shame. And injured again this year, and it's a shame. But man, he fills in so many gaps as a basketball player. Great playmaker, great shooter, can score. He could do everything on the basketball court. Good defender. Gave them the ability to go small, go big. That they could do so many different things with him on the floor, and you never replaced that. So how could you? And now you've traded for, you trade for the Frenchman for what's his face. Wow, why is his name Evan Fournier? He obviously doesn't play last night. He's in protocol, COVID protocol. But my goodness. What's the expectation? Do you think that he's gonna? What did you expect Evan Fournier to do? You expecting him to somehow alleviate some of the pressure? Yeah, okay, I get it. You can have him play with the bench guys, but isn't that what Kemba's there for? I mean, you got Kemba, you got Marcus Smart, Tatum, Jalen, Robert Williams. I mean, that's I like Robert Williams again. Maybe we can take Robert Williams out that equation, but that's a really nice four. I know Marcus can be sometimes confusing, but he's hit a ton of big shots. He's the best defender. I mean, he's arguably the best defender. You know what I mean? Him or Jalen, I don't know. You can kind of just throw a dart at a dartboard at who's the best defender between Jalen and Marcus, and then Tatum is close behind. You know what I mean? I just don't think Tatum is as strong as Jalen is, but I mean, I don't know. It really looks like that they're completely out of the system. That they just when they need a bucket yesterday, they're relying on terrible shots. On terrible one-on-one shots. And credit to Toby who ended up on the island a couple times, and defenders going to be one of the few times I give him credit today. Ended up on an island and defended really well. But they're just whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever. But hey, everyone wanted to clown us for the Ben Simmons and Joe fit. You don't hear anyone talking about this Jalen and Jason fit. And now, I mean, you're hearing murmurs now, but it's like, well, you have two guys who do the exact same thing pretty much. You know what I mean? And on given nights, I don't know who's better than whom. How would you look at yesterday's game and say one is better than the other? Or when I watch Tatum, I think Tatum is better at hitting difficult shots. But that's not necessarily a great thing. Jalen goes 6 for 10, Tatum goes 7 for 17. Tatum has 20 points. Jalen has 17. Who was better? I mean, I thought Jalen's defense was excellent yesterday. I don't remember Tatum's defense being anything special yesterday. I mean, again, he's a very good defender, so I'm not saying he's a bad defender, but I just mean in yesterday's game, I thought Jalen played great defense. I think Tatum maybe is a better playmaker right now. I mean, obviously he had 4 assists and Jalen had 0, but I just think generally Tatum is becoming a better playmaker. I don't know that he's there, but I mean, that team, it definitely looks like, I don't know. I don't know. How much more talent are you going to add? Yeah, you could probably use some bench guys. Every time I look at Grant Williams has the face of somebody who looks like he's confused as to why he's playing. You know what I mean? It's like he's happy to be out there, but he's like, yo, we don't have any better options than me. Is that what you're saying? Is me? I'm the best option? Oh, all right. Okay. Pero don't be surprised. Okay, when it's me. It's me, Grant. All right? It's me, Grant. You know what I mean? Romeo Langford is whatever. Peyton Pritchard, yeah, he hit a couple threes. He only hit one. No. Yeah, he had 2 threes. That's what I thought. He had a couple threes. Coming off of screens, I mean, yeah, we essentially, I mean, they had no answer for Joe. No surprise. I mean, no one does, but it's just, I don't know. But hey, Danny Ainge, the NBA whisperer, the draft supreme, the sorcerer supreme of the draft, somehow identify Tatum to be this superstar before everyone. Listen, that was luck. That was luck. He saw Tatum as someone who could fit nicely next to Kyrie, and he took him. He didn't know Tatum was going to be this good. I refuse to believe that, because then he outsmarted himself every draft after that, essentially. And that's how you end up with Romeo Langford, with Semi Ojeleye, with Peyton Pritchard, who okay, with Grant Williams, all these guys, Aaron Nesmith. And there are plenty of picks who were better than all of these guys. You know what I mean? So, but hey, whatever. Anyway, that's a little bit of my Celtics hate. Want to get that out. Let's run down the players. I mentioned Danny. I mean, Danny, again, Danny's won games for us. You know what I mean? He really legitimately has won games for us. Won games for us. And yesterday, not that he won yesterday's game for us, but he was our second best player. Just call it what it is. He was our second best player yesterday. I mean, you go into Boston Garden, right? And it's not just the fans. It's not about the fans. It's also the history of Boston that affect the players when they're playing there. There's like so much history on that court. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I guess to some guys like Joe, he's not bothered by any of this shit anymore. But Joe is just there to rip your fucking heart out. He's ascended to that level, to that Kobe, MJ, Larry Bird. It took LeBron a while to get there. Where it's like, if I'm on the road, I'm going to eat your fucking heart. I can't wait to have the crowd go dead, when I dominate this game. And I mean, Danny's been through wars. He's been there, and yesterday we needed him and he showed up. I mean, again, he has won games for us. How else do you say that? In the third quarter, he goes on his own personal run. He almost single-handedly gives us the lead, him and Joe, essentially. You know what I mean? I mean, Danny played great yesterday. I can't say enough. Great defense all around. I mean, they have 2 elite guys there. They got a couple of elite perimeter scorers, and Danny did his best. And we all did our best. Those guys are going to score. It's fine. Danny played great yesterday. You know what I mean? I got nothing bad to say about Danny. Joe, I mean, I guess I should have started with Joe, but I was going from the top. Joe, I mean, come back from injury, there was one point where, and listen, I didn't watch halftime because I refuse to hear Shaquille O'Neal talk about basketball anymore. I can't watch him say dumb shit. And I think the last straw was the Donovan Mitchell. That was the last straw for me. The Donovan Mitchell thing was the last straw because that was just it's just bullshit. It's just hate. What are you hating for? And then, you see the clip 2 weeks ago of Candace Parker shitting on him and his poorest basketball knowledge, and whatever the fuck he's talking. It don't even make any sense. I'm about man up. Man up on whom? Who have you stopped in your life, Shaq? Who have you defended to a standstill? I don't remember the story of you locking up Hakeem or locking up David Robinson. Credit to Vig. I mean, pointed out, yeah, he would get those guys in foul trouble. That's fair, but he's not going to guard any of them, right? And he can't guard Joe. So I don't want to hear shit about Joe settling for 3-pointers from Shaq. Joe shoots 41% from the 3. You shot 41% from the free throw line. There's a difference. There's a difference. If you can shoot threes, watching how out of shape you used to be in your prime, that's why you don't have more MVPs. So watching how out of shape you would have been in your prime, if you could have shot threes, oh, I'm sure you would have been shooting threes, my friend. I am fucking positive of that. Joe settled for too many threes at the end of the first half. That's without a question. I think it's what, 3 straight possessions or 3 out of 5 or something like that. And where Joe settles for 3 3-pointers. He's probably a little bit out of shape. He's a little winded. He's getting it back. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't really give a shit. Would I have liked him to not settle for those threes? For sure. Yeah. I don't want him to necessarily shoot that many threes. But when you're looking at this split of 3-point shooting that we have right here, this porous split, somebody's got to hit threes. Thank God for Danny. Seth, our 3-point specialist, ain't hitting threes. Ferk, I'm not going to talk about him yet. Dwight tries to step back 3 the balls. There's 3 seconds left, Dwight. We could have gotten a better shot, I assure you. Toby doesn't even attempt one. No, he wants to. We'll talk about Toby in a second. So, yeah, we needed some 3-point shooting. And Joe settled for a couple threes, no big deal. He hits a big one down the stretch, though. You know what I mean? When we're fighting back and forth, and here comes Joe. He hits a big 3-pointer to quell their fucking run. So whatever. I'm not worried about that. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it from Shaq. You know what I mean? It'd be different if Shaq was humbly speaking from a place that's like, listen, I took for granted opportunities that I had where I should have been in more shape and I should have come in more dedicated to the game and all that. And because of that, I don't want to see Joe waste those same opportunities that I wasted. I could respect that if he said something like that, but he doesn't. He talks as if we didn't watch his career. Yeah, you were dominant, Shaq, no question about it, but you're talking as if you was Mr. fucking dedicated. Man, there's a book called Who's Better, Who's Best. Shout out to the homie Vic who let me borrow that book. I still have it. Let me borrow it 12 years ago. I still have it. Permanent borrow. That book was written in 2004 before Shaq got traded to the Heat. And this guy had Shaq as the greatest player of all time based on a projection, based on what he thought Shaq would continue to do over his career. And obviously his career goes completely different. You know what I mean? It goes completely different. But the point is Shaq's career is always going to be about the what if. It's never about what it was. It's about the what if. And what it was is great. What it was is one of the best 10 resumes in the NBA, in NBA history, without a question. I'm not going to take that away. But they'll always talk about what it was. So hearing you talk from this place as if you fulfilled your full potential is wild. I don't even know if he talks shit about Joe, but I'm just preemptively going to shoot him up. I'm going to hit him up like Tupac preemptively. This is like Tupac dropping hit him up without knowing whether he was even beefing with Big. Rest in peace both. So anyway, yeah, do I wish Joe didn't settle for those threes? Yeah, sure, but I'm fine with it. It don't really bother me. You know what I mean? It don't bother me. Joe was dominant yesterday. Again, just putting them in foul trouble constantly. What's crazy is the thing about Joe, because I think a lot of people are like, almost comparing it to the James Harden getting free throws. But the thing is these guys, Joe and James, a little bit different. Joe, for a big man, is so fucking explosive. You know what I mean? That first step, when he goes into the triple threat face up, well, you got to respect the face up. You can't allow him to shoot. He's going to drain him, right? And when he does the jab step right and then drives left, or jab steps right, comes back, fakes left, and then goes right, it's so explosive that every center in the NBA is essentially standing still when it happens and impeding. It becomes a blocking foul every time because they can't get out the way in time, because by the time he makes the move, he's already going up with a shot that's going to draw the foul, and your body is stopping his arms from going up. That's why they call that the foul. With James, it's all about it's about the change of pace. It's about the explode, slow down, speed up. That people can't seem to, you just can't configure yourself to guard it. And that's why they become fouls. You know what I mean? This is not like Trae Young doing his bullshit, where inbound the ball and the center is trying to get up the court and Trae's just hunting him with his ass. It looks like a stripper. Looking like a stripper, looking for dollar tips and is hunting them, and then boop gets the foul. You know what I mean? It's not that. That shit, to me, that's bullshit. And it's not to hate on Trae he's supremely talented, but it's just like those fouls, that's that. And it's not just Trae. That's the Chris Paul school. of foul drawing, right? Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry. I have to sneeze. If you're seeing my face, it's because I have to sneeze. I'm holding it in. I'm not even holding it in. It's just not coming out. It's one of those halfway sneezes. Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry school of drawing bullshit fouls. You know what I mean? And Joe, don't get me wrong. James is drawing some bullshit fouls. We've seen him do it. I'm just saying that there are a lot of fouls that are not bullshit. And Joe doesn't draw bullshit fouls to me. You know, there are times where Joe falls and kind of, it's not even that he flops. He just falls so goddamn often. It seems like he's flopping, but it's a legitimate sign he's falling. And it kind of, it just like, well, he ran into a body and fell. So what is it then? You know what I mean? If that person's moving his feet, then it's a foul. So ultimately, Joe, the only thing that Shaq could ever take away from Joe, it would have nothing to do with his offensive talent, right? It's Joe's rebounding. You know what I mean? I need Joe. I know you just came back from injury, but I need more than 6 rebounds yesterday. You know what I mean? I get it. The last game, same thing. I think he finished with 8 rebounds. There's not a game that you should have less than 10 rebounds. There just isn't one. You know what I mean? There's not a game, honestly, you should have less than 13 rebounds. But, you know what I mean? There's no reason why. I know that Giannis is a little bit different. Giannis's speed, you know, perimeter guys have kind of, especially in this NBA, what people don't realize why guards grab so many rebounds now is because with so many three-point shooting happening, there's a lot more long rebounds. You know what I mean? There's a ton more long rebounds. Therefore, guards are faster to the ball. You know what I mean? But that still doesn't mean Joe shouldn't have more rebounds. That's the only thing that Shaq could ever say to him. You know what I mean? Joe, you should have more rebounds. Other than that, you can't say anything about his offensive talent. You just can't. You don't have it. If Joe was as had as much luck with health as Shaq had throughout his career, Joe would be on the fast track. I mean, it wouldn't even be a conversation. Seth, I don't know what to say about Steph. No, he played basketball yesterday. I know that. That's the only thing I can say about him. He played basketball. He missed 3-pointers. There's really nothing to say about Seth. Nothing. I will say it didn't seem like he got, I think this is just the Celtics are not good right now. Whatever's happening with them, they're not doing a good job hunting Seth. They should be hunting him on every play. And they just didn't take advantage of it, whatever. So because of that, Seth, you know, he didn't really take off. He didn't take a lot off the court. You know, he just isn't the same right now. He's just not shooting the same. Batiste hit a 3. That was nice. Played great defense, of course, as he always does. That's pretty much all you could say. I mean, not a ton. He only shot 2 threes. One of them was the wettest 3 I've ever seen in my life. That's pretty much it. Shake, he participated in yesterday's game as well. He showed up. He got a participation trophy. I didn't see him really do anything, honestly. You know, he finished with 6 points, 3 for 8 shooting. What are you going to say about Shake? You know what I mean? 2 turnovers. Okay, I guess that was good. Mike Scott played good defense yesterday. I thought Mike Scott played pretty okay. You know, there's the one obvious play he ends up on an island against Tatum. And, you know, I'm here like screaming, relax, Mike, you're doing a little bit too much because but trust me, they were breathing into the whistle. They were, if you silenced everything, you could hear the whistle with a low hum, like because they were about to call the fucking foul on him. They couldn't wait, but he didn't get the foul call. Good job, Mike. I mean, he just did enough to make Tatum feel, I think it was Tatum that he was switched out on, to make Tatum feel uncomfortable and force Tatum into a step-back three-pointer, which has been the death of them. You know, Tatum and Jalen essentially just settling for step-back threes constantly. So I thought Mike Scott played good defense there. You know, that's pretty much all I can say about him. Furkan, he went 2 for 2 on a foul. Again, you know, like I said, 3-point foul, give him 2 free throws, he's going to hit 2 of them. You know, that time he stepped on the line, it was more obvious, but, you know, not much I can say about Furk, right? What are you going to say? This was really an ugly game. You know, and it's funny because watching the game, you would have thought that like in the third quarter, we go on that run. It's really just that run. It's that Danny Green run because it's a slugfest pretty much. Like we're not getting any separation. Neither team is getting separation. They go up, we go up, they go up, we go up. And then Danny really is the one that creates the separation, and that's the end of the game pretty much because after that, it's just, again, a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But it felt like such an ugly game that if you watched that game without a score, you would have thought it was a lot closer. You know what I mean? You would have really thought it was a lot closer because it was just ugly. You know, it was definitely ugly. So, like the bench, not a lot to say about the bench. You know what I mean? It's just not a ton to say about the bench. The ones that stand out are Danny, Joe, Toby, and Ben. Two of them stand out for a good reason. Two of them don't stand out for a good reason. Let's start with Ben. On yesterday, Ian Eagle. I don't know. I don't know what Ian Eagle started thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. Ian Eagle says Ben Simmons, the numbers are out of this world. Before he goes on to talk about how after the All-Star break, he's not good. Well, Ian, let me explain that. That Ben, after a break, after any break in the world, needs a month to ramp it back up. He'll be back in a week. Give him a week. He'll be back. I think that'll be a month after he'll be back. But I just don't know what numbers are out of this world, Ian. What numbers are out of this world to you? When you say his number, or no, his numbers are through the roof. Through the cellar, through the roof of the cellar, the underground cellar, through that roof. Is that even a roof, or is that just a ceiling? The roof is on top of the ceiling, right? We're debating roof. So now if you had an underground cellar with no building on top of it, then you would have a roof on the cellar, like a bunker. It'd be like a bunker. A bunker. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. A bunker. Okay? So is his numbers through the roof of the bunker? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? Because I don't know what other roof, I don't know what roof his numbers go through. I'm confused by that. What roof? What roof? Is it roof like a dog, or is it rough like a dog? Because it's rough. That's really what it is. It's rough. Watching Ben right now, it's rough. It's rough. I mean, Ben, Kevin O'Connor suggests that maybe Ben's injured. The thing is, when I'm watching Ben play defense, I don't see someone who's injured. I don't see I'm not, and the fact is, the reason why our defense was so good while Joe was out had a ton to do with Ben and Toby playing great defense too during that time frame, no question. But Ben's offense, that doesn't make sense. Defense, to me, in my opinion, when my back hurts, my knees hurt. Defense is really where that shows up for me when I'm playing basketball. Now, who am I? I am no one. I am no one. I'm selected to first team all LA Fitness. Okay, I'm nobody. But I'm just saying that's when injuries show up on me. It's when we're playing defense. You're trying to get low on defense, get into a position, and your back is tight and it hurts, or your knee hurts because you're trying to back up, move laterally in ways that are unexpected, right? Because you're defending somebody, so they're going left to right, right to left, and you can't expect it. And because of that, you're switching back and forth, and your knee hurts a little bit more. On offense, you can prepare your body for each movement because you already have an idea of what you're going to do, right? Okay. So when I'm watching him play defense, I don't see someone who's injured. When I'm watching him play basketball, I'm seeing someone whose psyche is injured. It just is I think it's a mind thing. I think it's something cerebral, and I don't know enough about Ben, but obviously we know with the shooting, it's a cerebral thing. Because last year when Brett came out and said he told Ben he has to shoot, 1 3 a game or whatever he said to him, and Ben essentially proceeded to not shoot another 3 for the rest of the season, that's a cerebral thing. That's a mental thing. And I wonder how much of his offense or lack thereof is mental. You can kind of see it in the free throw shooting right now. You know what I mean? Before the All-Star break, when he was playing great, he was draining free throws and being aggressive on offense. Now his free throw shooting is shit and his offense is shit. You know what I mean? And then there are dunks where it just seems like, well, how can you say he's injured? This man just took off from inside the free throw line and yammed it. Yesterday, there's that one layup. It makes me sick every time I see a Ben highlight, right, where he does the up and under, the reverse layup. Oh, what? You had that in the arsenal? That's part of your package, your 2K package? That's part of it? Well, what are you doing? Do that more. That looks better than any. I almost want to see you go into a post-up and purposely do a reverse up and under like that than anything else you do in the post. He has Jalen on the block, hits him with a quick switch, goes right and dunks, or was it a dunk or a layup? I can't remember. So I don't think it's injured. I think it's mental. Aside from not being particularly skilled on offense. Not being skilled enough. I mean, Marcus Smart, he's posting up Marcus Smart, and Marcus is just not going to stand for it. Why? Well, let me tell you why. Because Marcus Low center of gravity, really strong, obviously, but low center of gravity. And he can drop his low center of gravity lower because Ben doesn't actually have any offensive skill in the post. So Marcus already knows what Ben wants to do, and it's get as close to the rim and rise up and shoot. That's it. Whereas if you were playing someone in the post who had skill, such as and I play against someone who's that strong or is using that level of force to stop me from moving, I spin off that. Spin off that, maybe a fadeaway jump shot or a fake. You fuck around. You can do, if you have good footwork, you can do so much to mitigate that, but Ben doesn't have it. So Marcus Smart just says, I'm just going to plant my ass here and you're not going to move me. You're going to have to settle for whatever bullshit you're going to settle for. And it never works. And then you got Toby. Yo, how many times I'm going to say it? I'm an all-star. Remember, let's run that back real quick. Let me remember. I'm an all-star. Remember? Okay. The next game, they told you why you weren't an all-star. The next game, you found out why you weren't an all-star as you're going up against elite perimeter defenders. Yesterday, I mean, there were times last night, legitimately. There were times I legitimately said this out loud here while I was watching the game. Is Ben and Toby, are they trying to throw the game? Have they bet on this game? Are they are they shaving points? And Joe, to his credit and his detriment, is like, come on, let's go to Toby. Let's go to Toby. And Toby's like, I don't even think Toby wanted that. What are you trying to prove? You're not. How many times do I got to fucking say this? Toby, your best offense is attacking off the catch. You're here trying to desperately score on Jalen, and it is miserable. I mean, it's miserable. I think you only scored once on him straight up. And that was the and one in the third quarter. And you reacted talking about doing this as if, yep, that's another one. No. Next time you get on your knees, you don't say another one. You say, thank heavens, I can't score on this bird cage of a human being who's locked me up. This abduction of a person completely has taken me out of my game and locked me away. I mean, this man is a county jail, and you are the world's first criminal. They don't even know what to do with you. What are you doing? You can't score on Jalen. You can't score on Marcus. Don't ever scream you're an all-star. Stop doing that. Stop screaming you're an all-star. Don't ever scream that again. Because the point is, you're not an all-star against. You're not an all-star to Jalen. You're not an all-star to Jason. You're not. They have the worst haircuts per capita, by the way. You have a better haircut than Tatum. I'll say that. Tatum, no. Per capita in the NBA. I mean, yesterday, shout out to the homie TJ. He said, man, these two white guys are pissed off at Robert Williams at Time Lord. I said, what two white guys? I didn't understand what he was talking about. And he said, Luke Cornett and Mo Wagner. And I replied, based on their haircuts, they're probably mad at Robert Williams for his existence because they got the Charlottesville one. That's what they got. Like you walk into, you know how you go into a barbershop, they got the diagram of the haircuts, and if you don't know which one, you say, let me get a 3 here. Let me get this 3, this high. Is this a low fade undercut? Let me get the 3, right? They walk into the Charlottesville barber, Charlottesville cuts, and they look at that list and they say, the Charlottesville 5. Let me get that. Let me get the Charlottesville 5. And they walk out with the supremacist, the white supremacist special. Not that they're white, I don't even know if they're racist. They're probably not, but just that's their haircuts. They have the worst haircuts. Tatum, your haircut, your haircut, what your hair is doing is essentially what Pusha T said about Drake in Story of Adidon. Mad because your hair won't nap enough. Yeah, because you want the Ben Simmons, but you can't get the Ben. Ben is Aborigines from Australia, the Australian plains. His hair is magnificent. His skill is not, but the hair is there. You can't fuck with that. No, stay with the short haircut. Go with, you see what Jalen, mind you, Jalen used to flex with his hairstyles. They were all good. He came in with the box joint, looking like Will Smith from the 90s. It was great when he first came in. I thought that was excellent. And then he said, fuck, I'm going to cut it short. Just go with him. Just do it. Just do the Jalen. Because this shit, no, it's not good. It's not good. They have the worst haircuts per capita. Toby, you have a better haircut than Tatum, but your skill level is unable to score on any good defender. And you need to learn that. I mean, I said that in the first quarter. I said, this is one of those. I put it on Instagram. This is going to be one of those Toby games. One of those. Because you can see it. He was 1 for 5 in the first quarter with a turnover. He had just got an offensive foul. They pulled him out. It's going to be one of those Toby games. Actually, I think it was before the offensive foul that I said that. He tried to score on someone. He got blocked or shot an air ball. And then the next play, and I say, this is one of those Toby games. And then the next play, offensive foul. I don't want to be right. Let me be clear. I don't want to be right. I don't like being right about this. I want our guys to flourish. I want them all to flourish. I love them all the same. I love them all equally. I just need being accountable is what I'm good at. Based on my work review I just received, I am accountable all the time. Toby, I need you to be accountable about your skill level. You know, Jalen is locking you the fuck up. Marcus Smart locked you the fuck up. Joe scored a third of our points yesterday. We scored 106. Joe scored 35. He had more than a third when he left the game. A third of our point, more than a third of our points. Thank God for Joe. I don't even know. These numbers don't equal 106 points to me when I look at it. Maybe it's just a disappointment and disgust when I'm looking at them. You know, I thought Ben played good defense. And Toby did play good defense. Ben and Toby did play good defense yesterday, though. I will say that they did play good defense. I will say that they called that one bullshit foul on Ben on that Tatum 3-pointer. Even though, you know, maybe Ben, you should probably know better than trying to sneak in there and get, you know, they're going to call that foul. They're going to call it, unfortunately. I thought it was good defense. I thought it was clean, and Tatum spread his legs in the most unnatural way I've ever seen in my life. And, you know, but then you know, whatever. I don't know. That's kind of how I felt. So I think that's it, everybody. I got nothing else. I wish we were better. We play Friday, Saturday, back-to-back. We got OKC, and we got – who else do we have? Friday we have OKC. No, Friday we have New Orleans. We see New Orleans. Zion's back. That'll be fun. That should be interesting to watch. That's going to be interesting to watch. We got Zion. They're trash, though. Whoa, man. You would think they're tanking. They're bad. And then Saturday we have OKC. They're tanking, but they can't lose games. They're just not losing games. They're tanking, but not losing games. I don't know. Before we see Dallas, who's been playing great. We see Dallas at Dallas. Get to see Luka. I mean, that's gonna be interesting. The last time Ben played Luka, that if you want to point to why Ben is a great defender, that's the game you point to. Because Devin Booker game, I'll continue. I'll start talking about the Devin Booker game against Luka. Great defense. So that'll be fun to watch. Let's see what happens. I think that's it, everyone. KD's coming back. I don't know that we're going to hit that 1 seed. It's going to be difficult. So, everyone, that's it. Wash your hands. You know the drill. Stay safe. Black Lives Matter. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Wear a mask. Get vaccinated. Black Lives Matter. Arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. Asian Lives Matter. Take care.
Yo. Yo. Justice for the blind. Just something that'll find in the rhyme that are coming from my mind. Used to come